Okay, so we are looking at this graph and it says y equals 8x plus 2. So on Desmos, you're going to click the first point and the second point and it'll make a line. So for example, we can go to this plus 2 and that's where I'd put my first point because that's my starting point. Now it says 8x. So we know 8 is really 8 over 1, okay? And that's our slope. So if our change in y over our change in x is 8 over 1, or we can also call it our rise over our run. So if we do our change in x and it's 1, and then we do our change in y, and so this is a run, which is 1, and we're going to go up 8 now. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to put a point there. So then we just went up 8. Now when I click that point and the next point, it will make a line for us on Desmos, something like that. My line's not straight. I know Desmos will make a nice straight line for you. Alright, so now we're looking at this next one. It says y equals negative 3x plus 4. So as you can see, we're going to start at the plus 4 because that's our starting point. And keep in mind that's on the y-axis, okay? Always starting on the y-axis. Now our slope is negative 3 over 1. That's our rise over run. So here our change in x, or our run, is going to be 1. So I'm going to go 1 to the right. That's 1. And then our rise is negative 3. So that means we're going to go down 3. Okay, keep in mind that rise, negative 3, even though it says the word rise, which would usually mean up, since it's negative 3, we're going down. Okay? And as you click those 2 points, it'll make a nice line on Desmos. I know my line there does not look great. Okay? So we're looking at y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. This plus 4s are going to be our starting point. Now, negative 1/2 is our slope, so that's our rise over run. So our run is going to be 2, so we're going to go to the right 2. Now notice that you put your negative on the numerator always, okay? The negative will always go on the numerator. So we went 2 to the right, and now our rise is negative 1, so we go down 1. Notice how I'm just going over boxes. We're using these boxes as our units to go over 1, or down 1 and over 2. All right, now we're looking at our next problem. So we know that our starting point is going to be 2. And we know that our rise over run is going to be negative 9 over 2. That means our run is 2, and again, you always go to the right. So we're going to go to the right 2 boxes. Okay, and our rise is negative 9. So we're going to go down 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we went to the right 2, and then we went down 9. All right. Keep in mind, we're always going to the right with the run. Boom. All right, now this one's a little tricky. It says y equals 1. So y equals 1. It's going to look like that. Now, this is what we're going to take a look at a little deeper. Okay, so it's going to look like that, but let's talk about y and what's going to happen. Okay, so we're going to look at y equals mx plus b. And this is just y equals 1. So 1 is your starting point. There's no slope. But really, what that means is that the slope is 0. Okay? So y is always going to be 1. So y is going to be 1 here, and it's going to be 1 here, and it's going to be 1 here. Y is always going to be 1 no matter what x is. So we do a nice straight line. So the way you can do this on Desmos is graph the point at y equals 1, and then to the right or to the left, whichever you prefer, and it'll make that nice horizontal line. So when y equals a number, there's just going to be a horizontal line, and it will be through the y-axis at that number. So if it said y equals 6, it would be through 6 up here. All right, y equals negative 10x. This is interesting because there's no y-intercept. There's no starting point. So if we look at y equals mx plus b, y equals negative 10x, there's no b. So it's just like there'd be a plus 0. So I'm going to go ahead and add plus 0 here. Okay, that means our starting point is just going to be 0. And now our rise over run is going to be negative 10 over 1. So I'm going to go to the right 1, and then I'm going to go down 10. So this was to the right 1, and then we went down 10. When I click those 2 points, again, we'll make our nice line on IXL. If I said Desmos throughout this, I meant IXL. All right, there we go. Let me know if you have questions, okay?